Bet we're live, everybody. So we've got a couple of special guests on tonight. Nick Jackson in Seattle, Washington. He's going to introduce himself in a minute. And Blake Bryson, my son, in Orem, Utah. Can you guys see that screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so there those guys are. And tonight, what we want to do is we want to talk about the business as a product. And, social selling is such a big thing right now, and we have this wired. I had the opportunity today to be on the phone for about an hour and a half with an absolute network marketing industry expert. He sees, everything, hundreds of companies, and he is so intrigued with what we're doing. And he just thinks that the whole direct selling industry is going to get turned on its ear and that we have so much to offer. And that's exactly what I'm seeing. And so what I want to do is highlight these two brand new Ruby couples that are in our business and really, have everybody get to know them, because everybody that's coming on new to our team, you see these guys working hard, helping you out, commenting and, really, influencing the group. And there's lots of other people doing that, and the teamwork is spectacular. But I wanted to just real quickly kind of talk about the business as a product. This is a literal perfect business. Now, I know that that sounds like hyperbole, but when you really start thinking about this, there's so many people that want a gig. They want to make profit. They don't want to make wages. Forbes magazine recently ran this article about 79 million people that are going to start home-based businesses over the next 5 years. This article is less than 6 months old. And here we are with a business that is free to join. So no capital requirement, no leases, no debt, no borrowing money from your family, instant pay. Just you can get paid today. No set schedule, totally flexible, no risk, no employees, no bookkeeping, no boss, no accounts receivable. That is such a big deal for most people with businesses. It is global and it is mobile. And I've mentioned this twice already. You can literally do it from your cell phone, and you can do it all around the globe. If you're really ambitious, you can literally work around the clock, and it's pretty spectacular. It pays, I believe, way more than we're worth, and it creates ultimately a recurring or a walkaway income. Now, I don't know how you get something that's more perfect than that. Now, the part that's not perfect is it's going to take work, and these guys are going to talk about that here in a minute. Here's the simple model. We post in social media. So what we do is we work on our influence. We literally work to have people watch us in social media. We try to be engaging, and we don't interact any differently than we've been interacting with our social media. Now, some people don't have quite a big footprint yet, but we post, we collect the money, and then we buy our inventory, and then we ship it out and follow up. And in this case, we've really been doing a lot with the whitening toothpaste. It's literally a perfect social selling product. If there's a downside, it's that this is easy to miss. People hear it's toothpaste and they think, what? But, everybody brushes their teeth twice a day, hopefully. And it is a huge consumable, and we have a whitening toothpaste that actually works. And these competitive advantages are why we're just smashing other opportunities. The free to join, the no handling fee. Nobody's, you can order one tube if you want, if you're willing to pay the shipping from an inventory point of view at wholesale. So there's no, you don't have to buy 5 or 6 or 700 or $1,000 worth of product before you get the aggressive pricing. You get wholesale from the first order, and that is so unique in this industry. You get immediate pay. Again, I mentioned that on the previous slide, and then 100% commissions. And this is what this looks like. So we have a lot of people in this team that are listening right now that are selling, 8 tubes a week, 20 tubes a week, 25 tubes a week. I mean, we're really seeing people make money. And then what's really starting to happen that excites me is because we're a real product company, we're literally a science and innovation company. We have a lot of products that really are demonstrative, and these are our social sellers. And we're starting to see people learn how to tell a story and interact with a product in social media, specifically on Facebook, and starting to see a lot of these other products sell. A matter of fact, some of these products are selling so good that they're having a hard time keeping them in inventory. So, with that little introduction, I really think that what we just laid out is going to absolutely change the direct selling industry forever, because we have a social selling front end on the most aggressive and high paying back end commission structure in the direct selling, network marketing, multi level marketing world. So, with that, I just want to introduce a couple people that are making this work. And I'm going to turn these slides off now and have Nick start and just introduce himself and tell everybody how it's going. Nick, introduce yourself and what's happening in your business.
Alrighty. Hey guys, so my name is Nick Jackson. I grew up in Provo, Utah. Currently live in Seattle. So I've been with Nu Skin for about 5 years and really saw this big growth wave on social media start happening just over the last year. Started in the UK and we kind of picked up on the system, and then as of just about 3-4 months ago, it was April 10th where we finally had kind of learned the system of how this worked, that doing those first 3 posts and how to build your team doing this. And so I just made a decision that this was my time. This is my window. And so I had a little bit bigger vision, having been around Nu Skin for a while, than just casually posting. I did some of my own posts, kind of tested it out myself over, last fall. And I actually was very surprised at my response with my first couple posts. I think I made probably $300 from my first couple posts about the whitening toothpaste last October. And, used that money to go and be able to take my wife on our anniversary trip. We stayed at the Four Seasons Hotel in Vancouver, British Columbia, and had a nice weekend. And but it was really on April 10th where I made this decision and they announced the success trip to South Africa. And I was sitting there with Brent at the leadership conference, and he just said, I really feel like this is your time, and you've got to make this happen. And so I just made a decision that I was going to dive in with both feet, no longer be 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and not just watch other people do it. That I was going to create my own success story. And so started working really hard. In our first month, we were able to replace my wife's income so she could quit her job, be able to, she was working at Nordstrom in downtown Seattle and kept getting her hours cut, commissions cut, and really just felt like she was wasting away in that job, that she was meant for something more and wanted to build something for herself instead of kind of selling her time to somebody else and building someone else's dream. And so that first month, we got in a position where she could quit her job. So she's been able to travel back and forth to Utah. She's there now hanging out. And then in our second month in May, we got in a position where we could start qualifying for the free trip to South Africa. And that was my original goal, just to work my guts out until I got on that free trip to South Africa. So we got about 35% of the way qualified for the trip in May. And then this last month in June, we got fully qualified for South Africa. And after commissions, bonuses, and money that we made selling products, we made close to what I make in my full-time job. And so this, for me, it hasn't been so much about what product are we using. I love whitening toothpaste because it's for everybody, but I know Nu Skin, the genius of Nu Skin is that they keep coming up with amazing new products for us to share. They always renew the opportunities, so there's always something exciting for us to share with the world. And for me now, what I see happening is I see more and faster growth than I've ever seen and experienced myself in my own business and then in all of Nu Skin. So I see this as a time for me to be able to focus on helping other people, be able to add more income into their life, and at the same time be able to build a walkaway income with this business, be able to be my own boss and no longer have someone else tell me how much I'm worth and when I can be on vacation and be with my family, and be able to really impact more people. It's been really fun being able to be invited to speak on stage at Success Summit and have people come up to me and thank me for my story. And we're just getting started, but it really opened my eyes as to how many lives you can touch and how many people you can really inspire. And so that's just fired me up to work even harder. And so we just have an amazing team. It's so fun finding people that are better than you, that work just as hard, if not harder than you, and they really have a big vision for what they're creating for their own life and for their family, and to hear how this is blessing their lives. And so this is a great place for someone that just wants to make a little bit of extra money, and an even better place for somebody that wants to really replace their current income, or really be able to build a massive business in probably a lot faster than they've ever seen in the history of Nu Skin. So that's my goal, of going hard until we reach the very top of the compensation plan and those top levels of income. And I've been very fortunate, like I said, to have a great team, great wife, Kyla, that supports me, and then also great support from Blake and Brent here. We just have the best team, so supportive, such great team play. And Blake's been, I've known Blake now ever since high school. So we battled against each other playing basketball, rival high schools in the Provo, Utah area. And so Blake's always been someone I've looked up to, and he's just been incredibly supportive and helpful in this business. He's boosting everybody's posts. He has great ideas as far as new posts. He's always coming out with a new amazing recruiting post that I want to copy. And he and Kalani have had great leadership, just guiding and leading the team. So I know now we're going to hear from Blake and his experience.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. So it's kind of crazy seeing Nick, because it's funny, because I remember playing basketball against him in high school. And I was always like, man, I hate guarding this guy. Because if you don't know Nick, he's like an inch taller than me, and he was always a little bit broader shouldered. So it was a little rough for me. But it was a lot of fun. And so I really did get introduced to this business a long time ago, because Brent's my dad. For those of you who don't know, I was born and raised in Provo as well. And, I saw what he did, and I always heard stories, and people would ask me, what does your dad do for a living? Because he was playing golf, and he had a plane, and he was driving Range Rovers. And I was like, I don't even know, like, I have no idea what he does, but I know he plays a lot of golf. And I always kind of was interested in that. And then as I got older, I experienced a little bit of Nu Skin myself with Nick back about, 6 years ago. It wasn't the right time for me. It just wasn't a good fit. And around very similar timing to what Nick's talking about, back in April, my son Emmett, who I actually just handed off, if you guys could have seen it on the video, I handed him off to my wife. He was born about a month early. He was totally fine, except for he hadn't finished developing his lungs. So he spent a little bit of time in the NICU. And as a result of that, I spent some time in close proximity with my dad, and his timing was also, like Nick had mentioned, very similar to what had all happened. They had started looking at this. They had gotten really excited. Nick had already tried this back in the fall. So my dad started posting himself, and I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? He's posting pictures of teeth on social media and everything. And as a result of Emmett, being in close proximity to me and being in close proximity to my dad, I decided to try a post myself. Fully expecting it not to go that well. First and foremost, I didn't expect to sell a lot of toothpaste. And then I made like $120 that first post, made about $250 through the first two posts. That was enough money to get my wife interested. She tried to post, and we ended up making enough money to pay our monthly mortgage payment that first week. And that was impactful money for me. I make good money as a full-time, sales rep with a small team that does search engine optimization and social media marketing. Been really comfortable there. And as a result of those first posts, for us to have that money, it was enough for us to get really excited. I tried my first recruiting post and ultimately recruited 20 people from that one post. And that was really exciting for me, because I knew I'd seen in my life from my dad what this could potentially turn into. So that's when I kind of made the decision that I was going to do this more full time, that I was going to do more than just replace my, my mortgage payment and live a little more comfortably. I really set a goal that I was going to walk away with this, that I was going to try and go really hard. That's when my dad told me about South Africa. And I was already kind of in a position where I could start getting points for that trip. And in May, we did enough points that we finished up qualification. And now we've actually, I'm sure Nick is in the same circumstance, we've almost qualified twice. And it's unreal to see, right?
No, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're seeing people, that I'd never met that are getting close to that trip too, and are breaking executive and doing all these amazing things that I didn't know were possible because of my results before. So now, as a result of all that, in May, we actually made as much money as we did for my full-time income as well. And then last month, our group almost doubled in size. And this month, we're seeing incredible growth from, Nick and his whole team and his leadership and all the other leaders that are kind of popping up in our team. And it's incredible just to see how fast this is going. And I'm going to promise you guys one thing, that you'll look back 3 to 5 years from now, and people will talk about this growth. They'll talk about what Nu Skin did 3 to 5 years ago to experience where they're at now. 3 to 5 years from now, we'll be at the point where the U.S. is doing $1 billion in volume. Right now, we're doing about 200 million. You don't need a big percentage of $1 billion in annual sales to really change your life. Go out and set a goal. Go out and use a calculator, really, and just put like 1% of $1 billion in annual sales, and you'll be like, oh, that's fine. I'll take 1% of the U.S. market, and I'll be able to live the rest of my life very comfortably. So that's kind of where I see it going. Is this is the time. This is where if you're kind of deciding if you want to do this more full time or just put a little more effort towards it, this is the moment. I mean, you'll look back over the next couple of months, and if you really go hard for 90 days, you'll look back at it and you'll say, wow, I'm really glad I did that.
That's great, you guys. I mean, what a great call, and congratulations on what you're doing so far. I'm amazed at the team play that we have and the team that we have. We have a couple things. I just want to wrap up and just say, first of all, anybody in the sound of my voice right now can qualify to go to South Africa. You should set a goal. These guys did it. They did it fast. We have until December to do it. Set a goal. You don't need to know how, really. What you really need to know is that you want to go. And then your subconscious mind is going to organize how to put that together. That's the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to point out in these guys' stories is we're getting ground floor growth right now without the ground floor risk that's usually associated with some startup company. So many people have risked their friends, their relationships, and their reputations on things that don't work out. This has no chance of not working out. We have so much capital and we're so organized, and we've been in business 35 years, but we're getting real live ground floor growth right now, and it's spectacular. I wanted to say a little bit about 10 at 10. We've been a little bit around the map on this. We're just having a little fun tonight. We have a pretty big growing team on the East Coast, and I was starting to feel bad that they couldn't jump on our 10 at 10 call live and enjoy it live, that they were having to watch it recorded all the time. So we did that tonight to do that, and it's 10 o'clock somewhere, so we're gonna have a little fun with this 10 at 10 platform that we're doing. Remember to post 3-day cycles. There's a lot of resources out there, the 3 PDFs, the Getting Started video that talk about a 7-day cycle. We don't do that in our team. We do a 3-day cycle, and it's really, really important to go that fast to keep people's attention and to really work your social media in a way that you get to tell that story really, really quickly. Post anytime. We're seeing that there aren't necessarily optimal times to post anymore because of mobile. 95% of the people that we're reaching are doing it on a mobile phone. It might even be higher than that, you guys. It's very rare that people sit in front of a computer anymore. It's mostly mobile. And so posting times, I think that stuff's pretty much out the window. So post anytime, have fun. And that's our team call for tonight. We really, one more time, I'm just going to edify this team. The behavior that I see, the teamwork that I see, the helping, and 10 at 10, right? 10 likes, 10 comments. We're just reminding you about that. It's really special. These guys are great leaders. Can't say enough about how much fun I'm having working with them. So thanks a lot. We went just a little long, 3 minutes longer than we talked about. We're getting better. We're getting briefer. And it's all my fault that we're not brief. All right. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Nick.
All right.
Thanks, Brent.
Yeah. Talk to you soon.